As a new real estate agent, you might not be considering what I'm about to tell you, but let me just give you a little bit of insight. And maybe you buyers and sellers out there can also glean a little bit of good, positive information from this. Whenever an agent has a listing, and they have on the multiple listing service that there's a particular amount of time in which to have the listing scheduled to be shown. This is so the seller can prepare the house like they're preparing for a date. They want the house to be in some great semblance of shape. They want it to be clean, all the clutter put away. They want it to be either cool or warm, depending on the season. Want to have all the lights on. And again, they want to have maybe some ambiance created, maybe some music, some soft jazz, these sorts of things. So it does require a little bit of time. Now, in some cases, when a property's vacant, well, none of that really applies. I'm talking about occupied properties, whether it's tenant or seller, doesn't really matter. Both of those parties can really be brought into alignment to be able to get what the actual owner of the property wants. If it happens to be a tenant, usually there might be some requirement. Hopefully they have a good relationship, and the tenant will say, oh, absolutely, Bob, I'll get your house put together. I just need to know when they're going to be coming. Give me a couple hours heads up and things like that. This is to those agents that get these text messages from other agents that want to see the house within the next 10 or 15 minutes. Or they say, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. I'd really like to see the house. My buyer wants to see the house. This is an example of them either not doing their homework or the home in some way doesn't conform to the original buyer's intent. Maybe it doesn't have enough bedrooms. Maybe they're only looking at 4-bedroom homes and the one you have listed happens to be 3. Maybe the property is above their price point. Maybe it's below their price point. I can't imagine an agent putting in a client's criteria and then actually cutting off the bottom price so it keeps them in a particular price range. To me, that would be kind of a violation of everything. But again, maybe some do it, but that's great. I guess that works. It's not great. It works because clients are also doing their due diligence and searching online. But typically those people that have that really short time frame to show houses, usually they weren't prepared, or their clients brought to them your particular listing saying, listen, I would like to see this. It's not something you sent me. And then in some cases, the agent's unable to explain why that is. Maybe it's a price range thing. Maybe it's an entry thing. Maybe it's a neighborhood thing. Maybe the agent has on their search some very custom items that aren't actually required by the realtor's board to be put into the MLS. So that listing's not going to show up if they're there, if they're not there, depending on the agent's criteria. Don't lose sleep over not being able to accommodate these people that want to see it within a few minutes because they weren't prepared in the first place. This is just from me to you. Explain this to your sellers so they also understand. So at the end of the day, they don't think it's something you're doing wrong. They just understand the method behind the showing scheduling. Usually, whenever I take out a buyer, as you can explain to your sellers as you do as well, I'm sure you prepare the day before. And then if stuff comes up as we're driving around, then that's another thing. But again, you want to explain to your clients if we're driving by a property and it's not on the list, that's because it didn't meet your criteria. So then look it up real quick and then verify with them so they understand exactly what that is. Then also inform them. It says here in the multiple listing service that it requires 1 to 2 hours notice, and we're right here in front. We can go look at other stuff and come back later and try to get it scheduled, or I will try now. But in all those cases, it's not something the seller didn't do or their agent didn't do. This just happens to be one of those people that, and again, what are the odds of them really loving it? Well, it's not in their criteria. So maybe it's missing a critical component. So you got a very small percentage of actually working out. But again, from my mouth to your ears, have a great day. I'm Connor with Honor at Santa Clarita Open Houses. We'll see you at the next one. Thanks for watching.